Don Knotts. What if the funniest face on TV, the jittery deputy with the bug eyes and the shaky voice, wasn't acting at all? What if the laughs were really a shield for a lifetime of fear? Tonight, we're pulling back the curtain on Don Knotts, the man behind Barney Fife, through the memories his daughter Karen Knotts is finally sharing. It's a story of childhood shadows, wartime stages, 5 Emmys, broken hearts, and a final joke told at the edge of goodbye. Ready? Don Knotts arrived in Morgantown, West Virginia, on the 21st of July, 1924. The youngest of 4 boys born to William, Jesse Knotts, and Elsie Luzetta Knotts. Home wasn't easy. Money was tight, tempers could flare, and stability came and went like weather. His older brothers were off in their own worlds, and little Don learned early how to disappear into his imagination. He built a wooden friend, Danny, a ventriloquist dummy, and discovered something electric. When Danny talked, fear backed off. Laughter made the room safer. Then, life hit hard. The brother Don admired most died suddenly, and a new kind of silence settled over the family. That's the moment the nervous look that would one day define Barney Fife started to form, part comedy, part armor. At school, Don cracked jokes, ran little routines, even got elected class president. People saw the funny kid. Inside, he was still the anxious one trying to keep the darkness from swallowing the light. New York was the dream, so he chased it. It didn't love him back, at least not at first. Casting directors saw too twitchy, too odd. So, in 1943, with the world at war, Don Knotts joined the U.S. Army. Not a rifle in his hands, a microphone. In special services, he toured the Pacific with variety shows, echoing the fear the soldiers felt and flipping it into laughs. He wasn't the hero, he was the mirror, and the troops loved him for it. He came home in 1946 with campaign ribbons and, more important, a sharpened sense of who he could be on a stage. Back at West Virginia University, Don studied education and speech, worked his act with Danny, and met Catherine Metz, the minister's daughter who became his first wife. By 1949, they took one more swing at New York and broke, determined, absolutely stubborn. Radio gigs arrived. Soaps like Search for Tomorrow followed. Then, a big break. Steve Allen's show put Don in those mock interviews where the bug eyes and stammers finally read as genius, not liability. A Broadway reunion sealed his fate. Don Knotts and Andy Griffith met again in No Time for Sergeants, and the odd magic sparked immediately. Country calm meets nervous lightning. When Andy Griffith launched his small-town sitcom in 1960, Don pitched himself as the deputy. That half-joke became television history. Barney Fife was born. Week after week, Don Knotts spun high-wire anxiety into gold. One twitch, one gasp, one barking burst of confidence at a time. 5 Emmys in 5 years. A character America would quote for generations. But success is expensive. Long hours, pressure, and Don's lifelong anxiety slashed at the home he'd built with Catherine Metz. 2 kids, a marriage cracking under the weight of fame and worry. The world got the roar of the studio audience. His family got the quiet man who'd spent all his courage by dinner time. In 1965, thinking the show was ending, Don made a leap. He stepped away from Mayberry and signed a movie deal, hoping to become a leading man. Some films clicked: The Incredible Mr. Limpet, The Ghost, and Mr. Chicken, The Reluctant Astronaut. Others, like the risque The Love God, made audiences squint. They didn't want Don Knotts suave. They wanted him nervy, lovable, on the edge of a panic attack, and somehow still brave. That mismatch wasn't failure. It was a reminder of where his magic truly lived. The 1,970 seconds and early 80 seconds brought steady work and new turbulence. A variety show that didn't last. Guest spots. Later, a beloved run as Ralph Furley on Three's Company, where the loud suits and louder entrances gave Don a fresh stage. But behind the curtain, life got harder. His first marriage had ended. His second to Lauralee Chutna would too. Then came a scary diagnosis. Macular degeneration threatened his eyesight, the very tool of his comic timing. Procedures helped, but the fear lingered. Years of smoking caught up with him. Health problems circled like vultures. And yet, love found him again. In 1987, on a set most folks have forgotten, Don met Frances "Francie" Yarborough. She was younger, kind, steady. They took their time, built trust, and finally married in 2002. After a career of making millions feel seen, Don had someone who truly saw him. Not the legend, not the deputy, the man. The vulnerable soul who needed a hand to hold when the room got dark. As illness advanced, Don Knotts did something only he could do. He kept performing smaller, softer, sometimes from a hospital bed, but always with that uncanny instinct to turn pain just enough to make it glint. In February 2006, as family and close friends gathered in Los Angeles, Andy Griffith came to say goodbye to his old partner. The stories from that room are tender. A whispered nickname, a faint shoulder twitch in reply. Two men, one bond, and a legacy that didn't need words to be understood. Karen Knotts was there, too, holding her father's hand. Even at the end, Don threw one more line, one more look, and the room erupted. Karen fled, embarrassed to laugh at a bedside like that. Years later, she realized that laugh was the point. That was her dad's final gift. He didn't hide the fear, he alchemized it. He took the thing that haunted him from boyhood and used it to lift other people out of their own shadows. In her memoir, Karen Knotts doesn't tear down a legend. She completes him. She writes about a childhood that carved anxiety into her father's bones, about the medication he leaned on, the marriages that couldn't carry the load, the friendships that did, especially with Andy Griffith. She shows how Don Knotts could be America's bravest coward on screen because he knew what real fear felt like. That's why the performance landed. It wasn't an act, it was truth, carefully timed and fearlessly shared. So who was Don Knotts? He was the man who taught us that courage isn't the absence of nerves, it's the laugh that breaks through them. He was Barney Fife, sure, but he was also the little boy with a wooden dummy, the GI with a mic in a sweltering tent, the sitcom thunderbolt, the lonely middle-aged man trying again, and the elder comic who could still make a daughter giggle while saying goodbye. That's not a fall from grace, that's a life. Here's the truth, plain and simple. Don Knotts turned his deepest anxieties into a gift the whole world could hold. If his work ever made you snort, laugh, smile, or breathe a little easier, drop your favorite Barney Fife moment in the comments. Did you grow up watching those reruns? Did a line of his live rent-free in your head? I want to hear it. And if this story moved you, tap like, hit subscribe, and ring the bell. We've got more real, human, behind-the-smile stories coming, because sometimes the bravest thing a star ever shares isn't the punchline. It's what the punchline is hiding.